How you doing? It's Dan at Kent Boot Camps. Hope you're well. It's a little bit windy and wet out there, which got me thinking today. It's about the time of year where a lot of our boot campers struggle from getting to A to B. A lot of them go into London on the train, and the leaves are on the track, the flooding, the signal failure, and it all becomes a little bit frustrating getting from A to B. And sometimes they miss boot camp or they miss their exercise regime because of the dodgy trains. And you could even be in the car, the same sort of analogy. And it got me thinking about health and fitness in general, and really the train analogy, as which I've written up here, is a little bit like us. We're all on a journey to our destination, and I wanted to try and explain to you how you can get on the best train you can with a good plan in order to get you to where you want to go. Because if you haven't got that, then you're never going to get there. So hopefully my little doodling today, like a 7-year-old, is going to help you, inspire you, motivate you, and give you some insights on how you can get you towards your goal a little bit quicker, perhaps. So the first thing is, when we're looking to start or change our health and fitness, we must become aware. Now, without awareness, you're unconscious of nothing, that anything needs to be changed. People these days, I find, are so busy with work, life, family, and all the things going on, technology, that they never get an opportunity to actually think about what they're doing. It's what we call what's called you're doing. You're kind of in it. You're doing something unconsciously. So it's just a habit, a behaviour that you're doing. So from the moment you get up in the morning to the moment you come back, it's almost like you're an automatic pilot. And all the little behaviours that you do along the way, the habits, you've developed and you keep repeating so they become ingrained. And whether they're good habits or bad habits, they're unconscious. And without being aware of what they are, you're never going to change. You're just going to keep reinforcing it. And the thing with habits is the more you do it, the more you think it, move it, eat it, whatever the habit is, the more ingrained, the easier it becomes. And that's great if that habit is pushing you towards, that journey is pushing you towards your goal, what you're looking for. But on the flip side, if it's a bad habit, it's pushing you away from it. And that's where we can start to feel a little bit frustrated and unhappy. So what we can do to build awareness, we need to be firstly aware of how we think. And that's not easy because, again, if we're so busy, then we tend to be a lot going on in our mind and we don't step out of that. So I would really encourage you looking at typing in, Googling mindfulness, doing some meditation, some breathing. Just start to be more aware of what you think, and how you react to things. And that's the first key. You can write journals, you can write food diaries to be more mindful of what you're eating. You can kind of note down how much you move, get some Fitbits to understand how much you move in the day. These types of things increase awareness. So in terms of a train analogy, which is a little bit like a journey, the next thing is, once you've become aware, you need to understand what you want. Ask yourself, what do I want? And that might be different things for different people. But it's key to understand what you want and why you want it, because there's the motivator and the drive. Without that, you're going to struggle to make the changes of the habits that we've just talked about when you're in autopilot. So what do you want? Buy a ticket. Now, do you jump on the train, whatever train, without doing any research? If you do, you might get a quick train, you might get a slow train, you might even get the wrong train, and that's going to push you in the wrong direction, which obviously is a bit of a nightmare. So just like jumping on a train, when you want to become a little bit more healthy and fit, you need to understand and have a bit of strategy and have a plan. So that's where people like us come in, or you do your research, or where you have to educate yourself essentially behind what's required to get you there before you jump on the train, before you start going. And the more that you educate yourself, and the more you have a plan, you have support and accountability, the more likely you are to change the habits. Because what we're talking about here with health and fitness are habits that you do day to day to day to day. and those habits become part of you, and they become your autopilot, your unconscious patterns. But you want those unconscious patterns to be positive, to be good, to be moving you towards your goal. So once you've got your plan and your health and fitness plan and you're on the train, then that's when you do your kind of habit swapping, if you like. What I call the habit transformer. So you're swapping undesirable habits into good habits. And that then is linked into this one, is where you keep doing them with a little bit of help, support and accountability. Over time, you're starting to move you towards your goal. And then essentially what you're doing then is just repeating it. You just repeat that process, and then it really comes back round again. So you go back to awareness, you keep monitoring how you're doing, how you're thinking, how you're moving, how you're eating, and you get support along the way. You keep doing it, you keep doing it, and keep doing it. So there's your kind of journey. This is the journey towards your goal. I hope you're still with me. And then, sorry, it's about the black as well. I couldn't find any felt tips. I've got crayons here, which I've managed to nick from my kids. So on the side here, this is a little graph about whether or not you want to be on a slow train or the wrong train, or a quick, fast train. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I think I probably prefer the faster train. You know what it's like when you get on that kind of train where it stops on every stop, or you go to sleep and you wake up and you're on the wrong train, or you've gone past your stop. It's a nightmare. So this one here, if you like, because in reality, when we're changing our habits and our health and fitness, nothing's ever linear. It's always kind of up and down, because that's life, isn't it? You have your good weeks, your bad weeks, your good days, your bad days, and nothing is kind of plain sailing. But when you're stuck here, and on this side, this is kind of results and happiness up this axis, and this is your journey. So this is time, if you like. Now, if you're here, if you start off like we were saying, you're unaware, you're completely just in autopilot and you're unaware of what you're doing, or you have beliefs the old beliefs or values which are kind of stuck, you've learnt somewhere, that aren't kind of giving you anything back anymore, then you're in a bad place. So if you have poor beliefs, or you're not even asking for help, you just think you can do it on your own, you think you can read articles and do it on your own, well, that's absolutely fine, but you're likely to get on the slow train. So this is what generally happens with the slow train. We tend to have some good weeks, bad weeks, good weeks, bad weeks, but you're never really going anywhere towards your goal. You're kind of just stuck, really. And in the analogy of the train, there's your leaves on the track, there's your signal failure, and you're flooding, essentially, and you're on the slow train. Now, what you want, just to clarify this, is your fast train. This is where people are aware, they're proactive. So, okay, I've read this, I've seen Dan talk about these tips, I'm talking about mindfulness, and I've talked about writing a journey. Am I going to take action on that? Or am I just going to say, oh, that's another interesting point, I'll just go back into autopilot and be frustrated with what I'm doing? Or am I going to take some action? So, proactive, taking responsibility is a big one in health and fitness, and that's in life in general. Once you don't blame something for not doing it, oh, I've got no time, I couldn't make it today because I got X, Y, and Z to do. You need to overcome this and start being honest with yourself and taking responsibility. You need to be willing to learn. That is such a big thing. If you wanted to grow a business or make money, you'd study business and economics, wouldn't you? If you want to be health and fitness, then what would you want to study? Maybe health and fitness and nutrition. So it makes sense to do that. So this is the fast train up here, look. You want to be in first class, don't you? Essentially. You want to be in a fast train and you want clear tracks. You're not going to be completely clear, but you can see the difference here. I would suggest making sure you start off being aware, get the ticket, get some support for some guys who know what they're doing, who can guide you along the way, and start taking action. Hope that helps. Hope I haven't even confused you. Any questions? post below. Please like and share. We're trying to connect with as many people as you like. So if you know anybody that would benefit from this, share or like us. That would be great. Really appreciate it. Hopefully see you at boot camp soon. Take care.